Hello, and thank you for tuning into the Stuff I Heard podcast. I'm your host, Joshua Peak. This is the 500th episode of this podcast. I started this podcast many years ago with the idea of I am in the truck a lot of times with another driver. At my job, I am a trainer, and so I'm having conversations with people on a regular basis because I'm doing a couple things. Number one, I'm trying to humanize the moment and let them know that I'm not there to judge them. I want them to feel comfortable. I want them to know what they're doing. And I want to be able to help when necessary and know that they'll listen to me. So I know right off the bat, I have to give them some information about myself, but I can't just be like, so anyway, this is who I am and blah, blah, blah. You ask questions, right? When you're a child in school, one of the first experiments they ever do is they say, let's write a letter about who you are. And you write about, well, my name is Josh and I am this many years old and I have a mom and a dad and blah, blah, blah. You write about yourself, right? So that's an experiment that's done over and over and over again in school because it helps the people know who they're dealing with and also how they articulate their feelings and what their feelings are. Because as you're writing, you say little things about yourself because maybe your guard's down or maybe you're just tired of saying it over and over again. So once in a while you throw out a caveat like, I have 12 cats and I don't like cats, but my wife likes cats. We have cats. I mean, you say stuff that's just on the top of your head and you're thinking, this person doesn't know me. I can say this strange thing. Um, I used to say, yeah, I got three teenage boys and they're driving me and my wife crazy. We're about to the point where we're going to walk into traffic without looking. That's not exactly a joke. That's kind of true. But you want to learn who these people are and let them have faith that they know who you are. So we would get to talking. And the more we talked, the more I realized that we had a lot in common, whether it was coming from extreme poverty or, you know, trying to navigate life as a single parent, going through marriage, divorce, growing up in a church family where the church really didn't seem like they were that involved in the church. More out for themselves than God. Coming to find God again in the place you didn't expect, and realizing that your relationship with God has nothing to do with the church and everything to do with your relationship with God, and how prayer can really change people's lives. How the military sometimes is an answer as well as a burden. Um, I served in the Marine Corps, and there was a lot that I saw and did that um, is hard to convey to anybody that it would matter. I guess the thing I always hear the most from people is, "Yeah, I was gonna join, but blah blah blah." And I talked about that before. That bothers me when people, I was gonna go, but yeah, I decided I was gonna play pro football instead, and then I hurt my knee, and yeah, okay, whatever, whatever. So these life lessons that we learn and we share with one another, hopefully we find common ground. And I went through a long time of listening to the media try really, really hard to get people to just point fingers and say us and them. And they're still doing it, but now they're doing it through social media. They're doing it in a way that is extremely intelligent. Um, and I still see people and have conversations with people, and people are very level headed one on one. It's like Men in Black says. You can talk to a person. A person is reasonable, understandable, um, easily swayed with facts and information, and with the right amount of whatever. But people are dangerous. They're scary in large groups, and they're reactive, and they shout and don't listen. And that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people understand is they don't listen. They're too distracted by things. We all are in a way. I mean, I'm distracted by certain things that keep my focus and attention away from the things I should be. Um, but we have an economic climate right now where our national debt is so out of control that the current administration is having to do everything they can to rail in financial responsibility. And with that comes some job cuts. And so now my Facebook feed, because I'm friends with people from both ideologies. Um, from one certain group is nothing but this person lost their job and it's so terrible. And okay, yeah, it is terrible that you lost your job, but was your job necessary? I mean, what did you do? Now, I know from listening to people at work and listening to information coming from the DOT that currently there is over 200,000 jobs needed for CDL drivers. I don't know if anybody's heard the phrase see a need, fill a need, but there's not a lot of jobs necessary for people to go into broadcast radio. If that is your pursuit at this age, at whatever age you are right now, that job is going away because I don't know if you know, people are listening to digital media more and more. And when I go looking for a vehicle to drive, I'm not looking to see if they have a radio or not. I'm looking to see can I use my Bluetooth? I can stream all kinds of stuff. I can stream music. I can stream movies. I can listen to the movie while I'm driving. I can listen to podcasts. Hey, this is a podcast. How about that? I mean, if you're working in mainstream media now, you may think, oh, well, the numbers say that 20,000 people a day listen to us. Do they? Or is it just on in the background inside of the Jiffy Lube or inside of the bank that you go to or the medical office? They just have it on the speaker up above and it's turned really low, but it has some semblance of ambiance so that it's not just a quiet, weird room. And they're doing it because it's free, basically. I mean, there's commercials, but it's free for them. They just turn it on. But nowadays, like I'm going to my doctor's office, my eye doctor, and they're streaming. They just turn on XM radio on one of the channels, and they're like, "Yeah, we'll just play this, whatever." Oh, it's seasonal. Oh, Christmas time. Let's play Christmas music, and they play Christmas music. Oh, it's spring. Let's do some spring hits. And literally, the advertiser that comes on says, "And now for a few more of the spring hits, make you thinking about those sunshine and flowers." And then there's some happy music. I'm disappointed in certain people that they don't. I don't know. I'm disappointed in myself. Let me start there. I'm disappointed in myself. I have this platform that I do weekly. I used to do it bi-weekly, but I don't have the time or energy. But I do this podcast weekly, and my goal is to somehow reach a few people. I know this is never going to be a big mega podcast like most people. Um, it's just oftentimes me and my thoughts. Here lately, it's been me and my wife and our thoughts and what we're going through and how it is stuff we heard and how it's relatable to us and what we're looking at and trying to navigate in our lives. And it's sad that I let myself get suckered into conversations where I know there's no win. There's no, there's no, not necessarily a win. When's the accurate word? I shouldn't use the word win. There's no ending where we have a conversation where either one of us goes, and you're right, and I'm wrong. It is easier just to say that, but I wasn't raised to be a liar, so um, I can't just concede that you're right when you're obviously wrong. I know I should be able to. I'm in my 50s, so you would think that I would have the knowledge to just go, yeah, right. How about that? How's it feel to be right? Okay, Grant, can we move on to a different conversation now? But for some people, their narrative is just being right. And I'll listen, I'm just as guilty of it as anybody. And I shouldn't be. I should learn from my own mistakes and I should learn from my own conversations with people that sometimes I don't have all the information. I mean, just because I have this podcast doesn't mean any of this is real. It's not. It's just me talking. It's just a dude. I'm just a dude, right? I'm a dude that's made a lot of mistakes, and hopefully, I learn from my mistakes, and then I'm able to share that stuff with other people. But in between there, we have a lot of conversations with each other, and sometimes I do learn. Sometimes I am wrong, and I don't mind saying, you know what, I used to think this, and now I think this. I used to be in the mindset that this country was just capable of so much because we had money. I mean, if you look at what Dave Ramsey says, whenever they're looking at their financial wellness situation. He says that, United States is the wealthiest nation in the country. And that if you get a family of two making $28,000 a year, you're in the top 3% of the world's population of wealth. If you make more than $50,000 as a couple, you're in the top 1%. And, obviously if you're both making more than that, then that puts you in an elite, you know, less than 0.5% of the world's population's wealth. And yet you feel like you're struggling to just go day to day oftentimes, because the cost of living goes up and because you see people struggling and you try to help and you can't. And no matter what you do, you just can't seem to make a dent in it. And then you hear about this country who, for a bunch of years, I would say for at least the last 4 years, have given away hundreds of billions of dollars. And here's some more money. Here's 40 billion more. Here's 100 billion more. Here's 200 billion. Here's all this money. Here. We're just gonna give it to you here. Meanwhile, we owe money. And I'm like, how do you give money away when you owe so much money? And who do you owe that money to? Who holds you accountable? And is it all just because you think that you can keep writing blank checks? Is it because there's knowing holding them accountable? Is it because money is fake? I mean, money used to be something. Money used to be weighed by gold. It had a value. It was a physical value. Um, I think our dollar at a certain point used to say silver certificate, which meant that your dollar was worth $1 worth of a silver certificate. Um, at a certain point, they changed that, and I'm not smart enough to know when, and I'm not going to do the research. You can. But at a certain point, they changed it to where the dollar says promissory note, which means they promise that that dollar is worth $1. And that's sort of like an agreement that the public has with the government of saying, okay, this piece of paper that says $1, we're going to all agree that it's $1 because it's a promissory note. And then that promissory note, as you create more of those, loses its value because it's not worth as much. Which is, I mean, listen, I am not an economist, but I know that if I physically hold in my hand $100 and then you just create another $100, then my $100 isn't worth as much as it used to be because now it's worth half, right? I mean, that's generally the idea here. And we have a government now in place with all of the major players that I was hoping would get voted in, all of the people who have been primarily chosen to do this specific job that they're going to do. And they're going after people who are wasteful spending. They're going after people who are pedophiles hurting children. They're going after all of these people who have made millions upon millions of dollars setting up policies that hurt the people that they're supposed to serve. And yet there's a whole section of my Facebook feed who's pissed off about the fact that they're doing it. So then I go, okay, are you pissed off about the fact that somebody lost their job? Or are you pissed off the fact that the government's doing the thing they promised they were doing their whole lives? And now you're realizing, oh crap, I have been supporting all these people who have been making these horrible policies and hurting people. And now I'm kind of at fault. So I'm going to throw blame on somebody else. That's my feeling. Listen, this is my 500th episode. If you guys never want to listen to me again after this, fine. I don't care. This may be the last one I do. I'm so pissed off about the way things are going right now with people's small-minded view of the way things are. And I can't get on Facebook and talk about it. I can't get on this podcast and talk about it most times because I lose my temper, because I am realizing as I get older that all of these people who are supposed to be doing their jobs to protect the American people and to use their dollars the correct way, I know, like we all know, we have this agreement that we know that the government is up to no good, right? It's in all movies, right? And yeah, fiction does relate to what reality is sometimes. But when you watch this and you see this happen on a regular basis to the point that it's like, no, it's in the news now. Like even the people who are supposed to be bought and paid for by the news media, now they're saying we can't even hide this anymore, right? But no, by all means, do your little sad dance for somebody that you don't know that wrote an article saying that they may have lost their job, um, watching trees grow or harvesting mink fur or whatever. I don't care. whatever frou job it is you think that is important for that person. Listen, I hope people get to make a living doing the thing they want to do. Sometimes jobs are just not worth it. I knew that the minute that Biden was like, we're creating 40,000 new IRS jobs. Why? Why? It's already a system of inefficiency. You just added 40,000 more people to do more inefficient crap. That is so stupid. And it seems like it's all money laundering. Like every time, every movie I watch, okay, I do watch a lot of movies. I talk about it on this podcast. It's this stuff I heard, okay? I watch these movies and people are all the time going, follow the money, follow the money, follow them. And then you see situations like Hunter Biden with his laptop and, sending off all this money to places. And you realize that, the all the money that supposedly went to the Ukraine, they only received a small portion of it because the DNC was in filtering the money back into themselves. I'm not talking out of my butt here. This is actually on the internet. This is on government sites. The truth is coming out, and people are like, "Wait, but I believed in magical fairies and that secret compartment behind the wardrobe that was going to lead me to a magical land where unicorns get to decide my fate." No, no. Let's get back to reality. Okay, this group of Avengers that Trump has got in his administration now is going to set a lot of things into factual situations, and they're going to say, this is what's happening. They're going to put it all on the line and say, this is what is happening with your money. These are the people who have wasted your money. These are the laws that were put into place to manipulate it so that they made more money and hurt you in the process. And you're going to see a lot of top people go to jail. And thankfully, that's happening because that's the end of the movie where you hope that all of the things that you wanted to happen. That's where the bad guy goes to jail for doing all of the wrong things. And the people with all the money who made it by hurting people ends up having to give up all their money. That's where the people like me who went out there and busted my tail for so many years, giving almost half of my paycheck to the government so that they could do whatever it is that they decided they wanted to do with it, because I have no control of that. They can then go out there and say, oh, we don't need to give this money to some odd group overseas that wants to have whatever bullshit that doesn't have anything to do with what I want it used for. It goes to the American public and the things that we need here. I see posts like, it is important that we have public parks and schools and fire departments. No one's threatening schools and fire departments and public parks. Stop it. Just stop it. God, I'm so irritated by so many of the people that I'm Facebook friends with. Again, Facebook friends. I don't care. I don't care. If I'm not having conversations with you on a regular basis, we know each other. Okay? That's it. We know each other. If I'm at your house or you're at my house and we're eating a meal together, we're friends. Okay? If you call me up and say, hey, I need a ride to the airport, we're friends. Other than that, we know each other. And that's the bullshit of what Facebook is. Okay? I like Facebook Marketplace. I wish there was another type of site that was kind of like Facebook Marketplace. I mean, Craigslist could have been that, but then you get this Craigslist killer, and then that all turns nasty, and then you can't use that anymore. I mean, when I was younger, it was Penny Saver, but then, I mean, again, you don't know whose house you're going to, and you're like, you got a VCR you want to sell for $5? I have $5. Next thing you know, you end up in a van. There's a lot of things we have to tolerate. And I wish that I could just keep my mouth shut. But here I am on a podcast. Imagine that. Imagine that, folks. I'm sitting here with a microphone. I heard a comedian say recently, maybe they just made too many microphones. And maybe they did. Maybe they did. Or maybe our conversations are the ones that need to be heard by some people. Some people out there are looking for people who say the thing they're thinking about. And there's so many things that I can't say because I have family and I have friends, real friends and real family, that I don't want to offend by things I say. So, happy 500th episode, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it so far. I don't know if I'm doing any more of these. but maybe it's just because my wife isn't here. She should get a lot of credit. I don't think you people realize she deserves a lot of credit for me not going off the deep end on a lot of things. And I love her because she calms my crazy brain and stops me from doing the thing I want to do oftentimes, which is not good. Um, I love you, sweetheart. Thank you for being the rudder to my boat. I pray. I've learned to pray. I've learned to pray differently. I used to pray when I was young. I would pray for something to happen because I was so bored. And then I would pray for money because I was selfish. I was young and I needed money. I was broke. And then I would pray for a better job, one that actually appreciated me. And then I would pray for my family to be okay. And then I would pray for patience to learn how to navigate situations at work and at home. And then I would pray for understanding. And here's the thing is every step of the way I got exactly what I prayed for. I got it. I got all of it. I didn't get it the way I planned. Of course, life is like that. If there's a story about your life, is none of this happened as planned. And that's true with all of us, whether we realize it or not. But I got everything that I prayed for. And now I don't know what to pray for. Other than, I guess my prayer right now is I hope that in another 10 years, all of the secrets and lies come out, and all of the people who hurt the American people are held accountable. And from it, we get transparency of our government. We get transparency of where our dollar goes. And from that, they start taking less money from us to do things that are nefarious. That's it. That's what I pray for. It's not concise, it's not pretty, but it's exactly what I've been praying for if I say it out loud. That's what I'm praying for. Again, I used to be all about me, right? I want something to happen. I'm bored. I want money. I want a better job. I want. Now it is, I hope that our country can get the information that they've been hidden from. I hope that all the secrets and lies come out. I'm hoping for other people. Okay. There is the reality of I'm 50. How many more years am I going to be here? So it would be nice to know at the end of this ride that the truth comes out. The absolute truth comes out. The money is accounted for. There is a balanced budget. There are people that are representing our government for what we really want, not for their own personal gain. That's what I want. Now, is that a fairy tale? I don't know. But it's what I pray for now. So take it for what it's worth. I don't care. I'm just telling you this is stuff I heard. And you can tell people, hey man, I heard this guy. And this is what he said. And listen, you do or don't. I don't care. I'm getting this out of me so it doesn't live in me. It's sort of like extracting poison. If I get it out of my body and out of my brain, maybe I'm less likely to say it when somebody says something stupid in front of me. So I don't blow up and become the asshole. So hope everybody's doing well in February. Spring is around the corner. Flowers are going to be blooming soon. Special thank you to Danny Shaw, Bobby Driggers, Mike Montrose for helping me do so many things with my Jeep. We spent a lot of time. We redid the tie rod ends on the Jeep. We painted rust spots. We actually got underneath it and wiped down everything with lacquer thinner and resprayed the frame. And it didn't have like bad rust, just surface rust on little spots because it lived at Myrtle Beach. But redid the rotors, the brakes, um, got new shocks and struts on there. Danny polished up the tie rod, the actual steering rods. This aluminum now it looks like it's mirror. It's got a mirror finish on it. It's beautiful. But drove it yesterday after we got done. Everything is so nice now. It feels so great. And these are guys that showed up on a regular basis and helped, with blood, sweat, and tears. And I mean, literally blood. Like we all have busted knuckles that left blood everywhere. But these guys helped just because they want to be friends, and just because it's, hey, this is a hobby I like, and this is a group I like. So shout out to the Carolina Jeep Meet community. If you don't know what that is on Facebook, just look up Carolina Jeep Meet, and a lot of good people on there. So thank you to those guys. I appreciate you. Um, these are friends, and my friends helped me. So thank you. And I'm glad that I'm friends with you. So y'all take care. Please be kind to one another. The country's going through a lot of repairs right now. And yeah, just keep watching the news for who goes to jail. It should be fun. I am looking forward to it. I have my popcorn ready. It's going to be exciting. Um, yeah, God bless us, everyone. Y'all take care. Thanks for listening. And as always, cue the cow.
Cue the cow. Moo, baby.